Hey everybody, I'm David with Bolivar Live, and every week we're with Dan Priest for Priest Insurance, but last week we talked about some different things, and for the next 2 weeks we're going to talk about retirement for individuals and for businesses, if I'm not mistaken. And so, Dan, no one thinks about it when they're right out of college, but if you start then, you're pretty well set by the time you get to retirement age.
Yeah, when we're younger, we all think we're invincible, and we're going to get around to it, and we'll do some stuff about about the compounding of money and the effects of money. A simple thing. There's this old thing in the financial industry called the rule of 72. So if you take an interest rate you're expected to return and divide it into that 72. Then you get a number that, relatively speaking, your money will double every so often. So if you're earning 10% into 72, every 7.2 years your money will double. So $10,000 7 years from now is $20,000, 14 years from now is $40,000, 21 years from now is 80.
And it goes up.
Yeah, and exponentially. So if you do that in your head and think about some things where you can earn some money and you start early, then it's really an amazing thing what the effects of compounding money will do. So today we're going to kind of start talking about IRAs, and we're going to talk a little bit on the individual basis. From where I standpoint, and we've been doing this a long time, we hear people talking about, oh, my IRA earns 8%. Mm-hmm. My IRA is getting 7%. Well, that's not really true. Think of an IRA, if you think about it like a corporation, think about it like a trust, think about it as another person. It is a thing, okay? Now within that thing, whether it's a pension fund or a 401k or an IRA, there are certain things that can go in that earn a rate of return. It could be a CD, it could be a stock, it could be a mutual fund, it could be a variety of things. But those things are what earns the money within the IRA. So the importance of diversifying that, just like your investment, just like your portfolio outside of an IRA is an important thing, and to get a blended rate of return. So today we're going to talk about individual stuff. And if we can kind of move forward for this, we're going to talk about traditional IRAs
next
and Roth IRAs. So to begin with, we're going to start with traditional.
Okay.
They were started in 1975, and they allow for a tax-deductible contribution, subject to some income limits on being able to do that. In 2023, that when they started, your contribution limit was like $2,000
a year.
Yeah, but that's changed. And in 2023, that limit changed to $6,500. It's been moving up over the years. And for 2024, that limit is $7,000. And you can do that all the way to your tax filing date, or April 15th, okay? For those of us, like you and I, who maybe some of us have waited to start saving for retirement, there's a thing called a catch-up provision. So you can, an additional $1,000 a year if you're over the age of 50. So that makes your 2023 contributions worth $7,500 and your 24 contribution at $8,000. So there is, because these things, you deduct money when you go in, right? Well, Uncle Sam always wants their money. So, and you want to retire. So before the age of 59 and a half, you do have access to your money in an IRA.
Okay.
However, it's subject to some penalties, and it's a 10% early withdrawal penalty, unless there's some life events that go on. We can talk about those too if you like. But at 59 and a half, if you want to retire, you can start accessing some money from your IRA. Now, there is a mandatory withdrawal age as well. It used to be 70, but now that has been pushed up to 73. So once you get to be 73, the IRS says you got to take some money because we want our tax stuff.
Right.
Okay, so that's what you get. And in a traditional, when you take money out, because all of that money was pre-tax, it is all taxable when you come out.
And if it was, what I was wondering is it at the tax rate when you put it in or when you pull it out? So if it's a higher tax rate now, the taxes could be higher on it.
Well, let's kind of talk about that a little bit. So I'm just going to use some arbitrary, I'm not going to use the exact tax rates because they're a little difficult to do, but let's say back in the old days there was a 50% tax rate. So if you were in a position where you're in a tax rate of 50% right now and you make a $8,000 contribution with a catch-up provision, that is deducted off of your income.
Right.
And so that deduction, when you take that $8,000 at a 50% tax rate, it actually saves you today $4,000. So your net contribution is $4,000, right, in today's money. Later on, when you retire, not everyone, but many people are in a lower tax bracket when they retire.
Could be lower.
Could be lower. And so you are maybe withdrawing money out at a 25 or 30% tax rate. So that money, that extra $4,000 that you would have paid in taxes, you're now earning a stated rate of return on that. Let's say it's 10%. That money is earning you $800 a year. Rather, if you invested that outside of an IRA, that money is earning you $400 a year, 10%, because you already spent your $4,000 and sent it to the government. So I hope that answered your question a little bit. So we can move on a little bit and talk a little bit more. So the Roth is a little bit different. There was a Taxpayer Relief Act in 1977. It was sponsored by Bill Clinton and a couple of senators. One was Dan Roth. And that took a little bit different take on IRAs. So the contributions limits are still the same. The withdrawal ages are still the same. But it's just exactly the opposite. Instead of take your break now, you take your break later. So that same contribution, you put in that money today, $7,000, $8,000, whatever money you put in, that money earns money on a tax-deferred, tax-free basis. So the flip is now you're paying money. This is post-tax money that you're putting in for the benefit of when you get older and start withdrawing money. That money comes out on a tax-free basis. So there's a little bit different hint to it. You should always consult a tax professional on what might be best for you. But either way is a very powerful tool to supplement retirement. Okay.
Cool.
Move on here and see. We just kind of a little comparison sheet of what they do. Again, a traditional IRA is tax deductible. A Roth is after tax. The traditional is taxed at withdrawal. The Roth is never taxed at withdrawal. And the contribution limits are what they are. They go from $6,500 for 23 to $7,000 with a catch-up provision of $1,000. That's it. Oh, there are some income limits, and again, consult your tax professional on an adjusted income limit that is fits for you, and it tells you how much of that on a traditional is deductible or not. It phases out.
Cool.
So that's kind of it on a traditional and a Roth IRA. There are many things that you can do within those. CDs is an option. People sometimes use annuities, mutual funds. You can put individual stocks in them, anything.
If you got in a bind and needed some money, can you use that as collateral, like go to a bank and say, hey, I've got this in an IRA, instead of having to put up collateral, can you use this as collateral?
That's up to the financial institution. But it's just, you can do a number of things in it, and you can supplement them and start them for as little as $25 a month. So young people that are out there, you can get on a monthly withdrawal plan and it'll just disappear and you won't even know what you're doing. You won't even know what's going on.
Okay, cool. If people want to get some more information on this and talk to you about, sort of like your daughter, she just had a baby and they want to make sure they're setting something up, can they give you a call and you can go over all this? Do you offer that?
Yeah, sure they can. One of the things that, you talked about, let's say you need some money, okay? So some of those life events and medical expenses waives that fee.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, so let's say down the road, we talked about my daughter having a kid. So there's retirement funding you can do. There's also educational funding and 529 plans that you can do. But money from an IRA is actually, you can access that money for qualified educational expenses for a child, a grandchild, or yourself. So there are ways you can get the money.
Still get it out if you needed to for an emergency. Great. let's wrap this up
Sure.
because I'm anxious about the business.
There's different things you can do with that as well.
For more information on this and anything else you've got in retirement, Priest Insurance does more than just insurance. They can talk to you about your future. And it's really a good thing because I can remember when I first went in the oil field, they said, how much do you want to take out for retirement? And I argued with them a little bit because I was more into hey, let's get the money now. But I'm glad they did that, and I know my dad being a CPA preached on me, and it's something that you really don't think about until you get up in age. But if you start it now or when you're younger, fresh out of college, it really adds up, and you can live a comfortable life when you're done.
Yeah, and there's you can take this to any level you want to. There's some retirement completion strategies for people that are married that want to ensure their spouse is taken care of in the event something happens and their plans don't work out.
Right.
So there are things that we can do and talk to you about with your concerns and how you want to get there. So
Great. Well, Dan, thanks for joining us, and I can't wait for the next show talking
Sure.
about the business part of it. But, we do something with Priest Insurance every Monday afternoon. A lot of times we're talking insurance in that factor, but this week and next week we're actually going to be talking about retirement because it is something you need to really hone in on at a younger age. And if you get up there and start hitting your 30s, really look at it for your future and your family's future. So,
or 50s.
Or 50s or 60s. I'm David with Bolivar Live. Remember, you can see our shows on social media and on Bolivar Live TV at bolivarlivetv.com and Roku and Amazon Fire. Until next time, I'm David with Bolivar Live with Dan Priest from Priest Insurance. Y'all have a great day, great week. Come see us. God bless, and bye-bye. Priest Insurance Agency has been located in the heart of Lumberton, Texas since 2001, providing a consultative approach and educating customers on how their insurance works for them throughout the coastal region of Texas. Priest Insurance specializes in the coastal region of Texas, covering home, auto, business, and recreational insurance. With ties to the coastal communities, Dan Priest has had the sand between his toes since 1972, with a home on Bolivar Peninsula in Galveston County. He survived a storm named Ike, but lost his home. With insurance coverage, his family was able to rebuild following the 2008 storm and continues to make memories beachfront. Priest Insurance specializes in the coastal communities, family dwellings, investment property, and business insurance. They've been there. Whether you're looking for or have a family retreat along the Texas coast, investment property, or a business, Priest Insurance would be honored to work with you and your family to make sure you're covered anytime trouble arises. For more information on Priest Insurance and their contact information, please visit their website at www.priestinsuranceagency.com, or their office is open for phone calls with questions and consultation Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. by calling 409-755-7600. Priest Insurance Agency, working and educating customers, making sure they understand and have the coverage they deserve.